Lift every voice.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and today we're bringing it to you live from the digital side. We are so glad that we keep on pressing due to my guy right over here, Big O, always bringing it in for us, Big O, all the time. I see you are coming live from the airport. Never stop working. Thank you. Happy Monday,
Yeah,
my friend.
definitely happy Monday to you. And we're trying something new right here. So we're definitely asking for patience from our viewers. I'm actually in Charlotte, North Carolina right now on my way back to Seattle. Triana is right there in Seattle. And so I got a little window here. We were going to actually do something different and pre-record like I did last time when I was out of town. I was like, let's try something new. So if something doesn't quite work out right, don't hold it against us. We're doing our best.
Right on. Obviously, very much giving it a good try. I'm so glad that we found a way to make it work. Thanks, O.
Yeah, no doubt. So man, let's jump right into it. Our first thing is going on. You're out there, and you tell me, how does the air look? Because we got an air quality here, and it's saying that it's actually good now, and that everything is good to go. Have you stepped outside yet today?
Oh yeah, it over the weekend it definitely cleared up and you can see the sun coming through no longer in a foggy haze. It's been beautiful to see the last couple of days.
All right, fantastic. So listen, I wanted to jump into some big, and that's why I said I'm in the airport, so you guys a little bit of announcements going on. But something just came to my attention early this morning is this issue at Rainier Beach High School. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, yeah. Literally another fight in the community to save something that is precious to the kids. I mean, here we go. We're gonna get into it, oh.
Yeah, so basically what's happening is there's a community group called Seattle Committee to Save Schools, and they've been putting out what people in Rainier Beach are calling uh, fake news or a fake flyer. They've been basically put a flyer out in the community, and what the flyer says is that they want to make help save Rainier Beach and make it a landmark. Basically, this group does not want Rainier Beach High School torn down and a new school built. But of course, the community there in the South End does. And they've been wanting a new school there for a long time. And so it looks like this is a situation where you have a group from, they're actually not located in South Seattle. There's a group from North Seattle that's coming in there to the South End and is trying to tell the community there that they don't deserve a new school, basically. So I got a few things. Here's a little bit of video from over at Rainier Beach High School on Friday.
History of what occurred here prior to this fake news and flyer that you guys received that was trending. But you guys got to realize in Hosea 4:6 is that people perish for lack of knowledge. You cannot believe everything you see and hear, and you must do your own research. So, as that was, with that being said, we fought. The kids went to every school board meeting, and we rallied everyone that we could. But it was the kids and the parents who were fighting. They went to every school board meeting, and while Betty was working on that side, we were all tag teaming together with her to make sure that we get this renovation, that we were on the BEX5. They promised us to be on the BEX4 in 2012, and you know what they gave us? They gave us an upgrade, an earthquake upgrade, which was a slap in the face to us because we want a whole new building. So from there, we fought and fought for the past 8 years, and then finally the school board gave us a building. We've been approved to be on the BEX5 renovation list, and we are currently in design as we speak.
So, I mean, the community there. I mean, for people that don't know, Rainier Beach has been a traditionally black and brown school since forever. And a big coalition there between black schools and a Polynesian. That's one of the schools, probably the largest Polynesian population. And we see Paul Patu was over there in the at the event. Now, this right here. This is the flyer that's circulating around. And this flyer says, please help save Rainier Beach High School, as if the school is going to be going away and somebody's going to build condos there. The school district is proposing to demolish and replace the entire Rainier Beach School campus, except the Paul Robeson Performing Arts Center. And so this flyer is being circulated in our community by a group that's in the North End. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's over 123 letters that have been written to city of Seattle and the landmark people, including from people like Jamal Crawford, Larry Gossett, as well as current and former students at Rainier Beach High School. So wanted to take this opportunity to make this aware. This is very misleading and counterintuitive to what people who actually live and kids go to Rainier Beach High School, and people, who are graduates of the school, and people who are in that ecosystem. They all want a brand new school. And you got to remember, a school like Garfield was built over 100 years ago, and that's why it's original brick. That's why people want to, with Garfield, you're like, okay, we need to preserve the building. That's not quite the case with Rainier Beach. Today, Rainier Beach, the actual structure was built in like the 50s. And so, again, this is another example of people not in the community coming into our community and wanting to push things that are not against what the community wants.
Yeah, these counter narratives must be, addressed. And I'm so glad that this is coming out. So for the public to be able to understand the difference between these campaigns. Clearly, this is another example of the community really, again, having to fight for what they know is right. And it's unfortunate because are this group? Like we know, like you said earlier, they're not from the area. So here we are again. I mean, this is not something that Black and brown people have the privilege of doing, right? They don't get to go in to other communities and disturb those communities with whatever those plans are for those community members. And unfortunately, this is an attack that seems like it is monstrous in that regard, because this is not something that these community members should even have to face. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Right. So Emily Stock has a question here, and it says, is the group just misinformed or is it sabotage? So the Seattle Committee to Save Schools I mean, this is just their thing. I mean, looking online, it goes back to a beef that they had with Seattle schools way back years ago at Ingram High School, because Seattle schools cut down some trees over at Ingram High School for part of a renovation. And it looks like every time that Seattle schools is trying to build something, this is like one of the tactics that this group uses, the Seattle Committee to Save Schools. So I'm gonna reach out to them, you know what I'm saying, and see what they have to say. I mean, you know, we work with a lot of people who are graduates from Rainier Beach or have kids that go to Rainier Beach right now, and you know, it'd be interesting to see what Seattle Committee to Save Schools says. But I also want to use this opportunity to make the community members aware that, you know, this effort is counterintuitive to what the majority of people in our community are saying that they want to happen out at Rainier Beach High School. People in our community are saying that they want a new high school built.
Period. That's what we need. And I'm glad that we're able to uplift this. Oh, because again, this platform allows for people to say what it is that they're trying to do. So hopefully we can get some representatives from that group to actually explain why it is that they go about, you know, preserving schools in this way and going against community.
Right. Next up, we got a clip here from. I'm sorry about the noise, everybody. We're doing what we can. We're trying to make it happen out here. Next up,
Great job.
back to. Oh, appreciate it. Got a clip right here from King 5 of how people across Seattle held a vigil, notating the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
A gathering of people came here to the U.S. District Court.
And I thought I had a clip.
A gathering of people came here to the U.S. District Courthouse in downtown Seattle on Saturday night to pay their respects to Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Justice Ginsburg died after a long battle with cancer on Friday at the age of 87. Her death has reverberated around communities like ours and nationally, as well as the conversation as to who will replace her in the high court heats up. From Washington State to the nation's capital, memorials for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg grow. Flags at the U.S. Capitol are at half-staff in honor of the second woman ever appointed to the High Court.
And so,
In Seattle, a candlelit vigil as fans of the cultural and political icon mourn her death.
Justice Ginsburg was amazing for so many reasons. She was a legend, and she really is our superhero.
Both Joe Biden and President Donald Trump expressed praise for Ginsburg and sadness over her death.
As we meet tonight, our nation mourns the loss of a legal giant, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Her landmark rulings, fierce devotion to justice, and her courageous battle against cancer inspire all Americans.
She never failed. She was fierce and unflinching in her pursuit of the civil and legal rights of civil rights of everyone.
But now the fight between Democrats and Republicans to replace her in the High Court is heating up just before Election Day. At a rally for President Trump in North Carolina, he again stated his plans to appoint her successor.
I will be putting forth a nominee next week. It will be a woman.
But Democrats are pointing to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's stance in 2016 and say nothing is off the table if McConnell moves forward this year. With just over a month before Election Day, the debate as to whether it will be the current president or possibly the new president as who makes a decision to replace Justice Ginsburg will continue to heat up. In Seattle, I'm Tony Black, King 5 News.
Wow.
Yo, DC is greasy, man. I mean, like, she hadn't even been dead a few hours.
Right.
Everybody's like, yo, man, it's like, that's not a place I want to operate, man. DC is.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, though. I mean, they're trying to push this through.
Yeah, not only that, but you know, our show aired before the news struck of Justice Ginsburg's death. And honestly, you know, again, just to echo the sentiments of so many in the nation and across this world who, you know, understood her rulings to be so innovative, transparent with the people. She was really one with the people that so many really respect. I mean, it's not too often that, you know, a justice passes and it really resonates this much with so many people. So it's just a true testament to her legacy.
Yeah, you know, one of her favorite sayings, she didn't say it, and I forget who the author was, said that all that she asked from her brethren is they take the feet off her neck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways,
truly with the people.
so man, next up, it looks like the Seattle Foundation has a problem, man. It's a lot of people in the community groups are rallying around. People might know Seattle Foundation is one of the biggest philanthropic foundations in the Seattle area. They got a lot of loot. And there's a lot of things that they support, and apparently two of the things that they support isn't sitting well here during protest season, and that's it was a discovery organization, and the bigger name that people would know is the Seattle Police Foundation. So there was a rally down there at Westlake Park over the weekend, and we have some footage right here from Sean Scott. We'll play that, and then we'll come back with Nikita Oliver.
The people who I don't see in this crowd right now are the white liberals and many of the brown liberals too, frankly, in City Hall, who at this point haven't stood by their promise to push back on Mayor Durkin's veto of even a modest proposal to defund the Seattle Police Department.
Yeah!
Many of those elected officials who over the years have actually begged the Chamber of Commerce in the city for funds, even if they didn't win those endorsements, they still asked for them. Many of those are the elected officials that have been the most likely to equivocate on this question of whether or not we're going to defund the police. At the same time, we see corporate philanthropists telling us that they're able to do their fair share by giving to foundations like the Seattle Foundation. The reality is that if they simply paid their taxes, we wouldn't be in the position where we're depending on the so-called benevolence of those corporations in this city. I think if a lot of those corporate philanthropists and some of the do-nothing elected officials in the city wanted to show solidarity, they would rebuke Mayor Durkin's veto of City Council's modest proposal to defund the Seattle Police.
Yeah, so that's Sean Scott right there. I believe he ran for District 4 here in the last City Council race. He came up a bit short there, but clearly he's staying involved in local politics and was out there at that rally. And one interesting thing that he said, and one key thing I keep hearing, is that people are expecting City Council to override the mayor's veto. Like, we don't really hear about it, a lot these days, probably because City Council's been on vacation. They have been out of session for the last 30 days. But the more and more I'm out there and talk to people, they're like, yeah, these guys made a promise. We expect them to keep their pledge. So, that's a whole... What have you been hearing about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that a lot of folks are saying. I mean, clearly, there's also the understanding that a lot of council members are trying to work with the mayor and come up with some other type of resolution that doesn't require them to do that. But that's definitely one of those sentiments that's out there. And once again, what we're seeing with this movement, is that there's a wide variety of voices for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So also who was there was Nikita Oliver. Nikita Oliver, as we know, Decrim Seattle Creative Justice, and on. She's part of a lot of different things, also part of the King County Equity Now coalition. And, she also had some choice words out there about the Seattle Foundation.
In the first place, foundations love to put orgs like Creative Justice on the front of their annual reports because it makes them look good by somehow contributing to us undoing the suffering we deal with because of them. Foundations only exist because we live in a society which is okay with the wealthy hoarding resources and giving a little bit of benevolence to make themselves feel good. That is what philanthropy is about. Philanthropy exists because poor and disenfranchised people at one point in time are rising up in such a dynamic way that rich, wealthy white people realized that if they didn't give us a couple crumbs, we were going to throw them over. We were going to topple this economic system. My organization was invited to be featured in the Seattle Foundation annual report.
Wow. Yeah, what's this? Nathaniel Luke Pinzon mentioned that Sean Scott was also working with the Bernie Sanders campaign. Forgot about that. Yeah. But you see, Nikita, fired up.
Well, I mean, I think that this movement is really bringing about so many different things that, people haven't thought about that are really pillars of our society. And, I think that what she's speaking to, again, is one of those, perspectives that really has been researched over the years when you think about, what brought about these certain factions of our society that we've become so used to, they've just become a part of the fabric of that we know of that exists out. And I feel that she's bringing about some points that are probably making people go, well, I maybe I never considered, why this faction exists, or hey, that's really what it is at the heart of it. I think that capitalism is one of those things that produces these kind of factions of society where there are some that have a lot that then want to do something. And I think there are great people there. I don't want it to seem as though it's just some villainous things that she's saying. I think that for me, and I'll say this is for me, and what I took from what she was saying was that, yeah, there's this faction of that, this is why it exists. But I will also say that there are great people too that are like, look, I amassed this wealth, or this wealth was handed down to me, and I want to do the right thing with it. I want to be a part of something that is actually going to move the needle forward, because maybe I don't agree with all of this, the way that this works. And I've actually been able to have conversations with some folks that, are working on some new solutions. The People's Economy Lab and New Economy Washington are two of the initiatives that are really spawning out of Seattle and Washington that are really rethinking about economies and how to bring about these kind of coalitions that exist amongst folks that have the wealth and folks that really need it, and folks that kind of can help figure out what that looks like amongst community. There's this whole new ideas that people are coming up with, and it's inspiring to see. So I think that part of what she's saying is so true. All of what she's saying is true, but also there's good people there too who want to do good with their wealth. So I think there's both sides there.
Yeah, well, I say Seattle Foundation. I don't know them. I only know one person who works over there or is associated with them. Real solid dude. And I mean, the thing is, I think that when we throw all of philanthropy under the bus, you know what I'm saying? I mean, man, Converge is philanthropic. I ain't got no
Yeah.
agenda. Well, really, I do have an agenda. I have an agenda. We put our money towards getting black kids interested in media. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's where we spend our time and energy. I mean, there's lots of
Yeah.
people who have different causes. So, I mean, I think that it's a broad brush to say that all philanthropic organizations have some agenda. There's lots and lots of black philanthropic organizations, and all kinds
Yeah.
of other ones. Seattle Foundation, I would need to do more personal research. But I do know that the big problem that like Divest SPD has with Seattle Foundation is they said that they're linked to the Seattle Police Foundation. And so those are those two things there.
And that's the
But
part
yeah,
of philanthropy that I think the public also needs to weigh in, is that there you have these large organizations, something like Seattle Foundation, that does a lot of great work. And I do know them because they actually help to fund ACLT, Africatown Community Land Trust. And honestly, I know that they do fund a lot of great work that's happening on the ground. But also, too, what she's pointing out is that they're so large that they also are able to fund something like this. So being on both
mm,
sides is what makes it hard, and making things so politically charged is what creates these sides. So that's what makes it tough. It's a lot for the public to weigh in on.
all right. So we got some people just joining us. We'll put this one back up here. Dora Elisa Vega. Did I miss something? Why is Trey at home? So actually, Trey's at home because I'm in the airport here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And last time we did something pre-recorded, and I was like, man, let's see if we can do something live. So we're figuring it out. So, um, and a lot of times, small business, you gotta learn on the fly. So we weren't able to practice this beforehand. So if something goes wrong, you know what I'm saying? Please forgive us. Uh, Moving on and see in the airport. We got announcements here. Next thing is, man, is the SPD officer in trouble. I guess he was out on the track. You know what I'm saying? And this officer, here's the thing: is so the officer he got jammed up in a prostitution sting. which is like, I mean, it's whatever. He's a cop. He got caught up in prostitution thing. I'm sure a preacher and a teacher probably got caught up too, and somebody's dad, So that's not really the story, right? Kind of, but no. But the story is the preferential treatment that this officer got. So we got a clip right here from King 5.
Seattle's Office of Police Accountability is also looking into new allegations that a police captain was given preferential treatment after being arrested for soliciting a prostitute. King 5's Chris Daniels has that story.
Whether or not the captain received preferential treatment from his chain of command, and that's definitely an aspect of the case that we're going to look into. But
that's the reaction tonight from Andrew Meyerberg, who heads Seattle's Office of Police Accountability, to allegations officers gave preferential treatment to a police captain arrested in a prostitution sting.
May I talk to the sergeant?
The Seattle Times broke the news that body cam video showed the arrest of Captain Randall Woolery and a sergeant telling Woolery he would make the arrest as painless as possible before turning off the camera.
Can we go around the corner for a second?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to turn off the camera just for a minute.
The Times says Woolery was in contact with high-ranking officers almost immediately and taken downtown instead of the North Precinct, where he was given an expedited booking and release. King 5 told you about the arrest last November, part of an Aurora Avenue prostitution sting. Woolery, who reviewed use of force cases, has been on paid leave since, charged with sexual exploitation. The misdemeanor case has been held up because of the COVID crisis, while he also continues to serve as a Snohomish County Fire Commissioner. The allegations add a new layer as reform remains a hot topic in this town.
Turning off of the body cam has been looked at, investigated, and it was deemed to be a violation of policy. And before she retired, Chief Best had approved that case and imposed discipline on the sergeant.
All right, so a few things there. One, preferential treatment. Two, still on leave, so he's still making $174,000 a year. Three, as we found out in speaking to Meyerberg, just because the chief imposes punishment doesn't mean that it stays that way. It goes over to the union, it gets arbitration, it could be overturned, and everything else. And four, my big question is, where's the greatest hits video? Where's your guy? Where's his greatest hit? I mean, this is what happens though when you be so quick. These guys come out so quick to create their narrative about this or create a narrative about that, and then oops, here comes something right here. You know what I'm saying? That just shows violations on all kinds of different levels. Be real interesting to see what the SPOG is saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, I mean, this is really what it is. And this is where the public is why people are out in the streets. It's the insulation that is within the police department. And when you see the proliferation of these videos or these instances, when you can start to compile them and understand that, hey, almost every time it looks like it would be something that's bad for the police department. Maybe it's one officer or maybe it's a group of officers, but it's going to be bad for them. Then there's all of this, oh, there's no footage, oh, we got to wait, oh, we can't release the footage, it's it's under investigation. There's all of this other stuff that they're able to say, again, these insulated responses that they're able to give that further the distrust that a lot of the community really has with the police department. And unfortunately, these instances are what create that and help to grow it. It's time and time again.
And this is crazy, right? Because it came out, this story broke the day after we had already done the interview with Meyerberg. But my number one question to Meyerberg was, why should anybody think your office is credible? Why should anybody think that any accountability is credible? I mean, because like you'll see here, and it's actually an interview with this guy Justin. He just says that the way that the system, the whole breakdown is. And I said this on, we did a post-interview show on Friday, me and Kevin. And the big thing I said was like, man, they keep saying that they want to fix the system. This system is not broken. This system works efficiently. We're just not part of the system. We were never included in the system. So the system works against us. It is not broken. This system works exactly the way that these people want the system to work. There's a reason why crack cocaine was a mandatory, crack cocaine was a mandatory minimum. You know what I'm saying? But powder, you can go to treatment. That's the way because the system is intended. for all of these outcomes. And so people got to stop saying, like, fix the system. We need to recognize that, one, this system was never built for us. Clearly, look at this system right here. Look at this situation. It was built, their system clearly was built for them. This guy, he's out there buying prostitutes, which, you know, they use the word prostitute, but if there's anybody else, they'd be called sex trafficking. That's trafficking. That's sex trafficking right there. So he was arrested for sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? Got an expedited release, still on paid leave. An officer turned off the body cam. And although the chief made a recommendation, who knows it'll ever be implemented? Sounds to me like their system works good. We're just not part of their system.
Yeah, once again, you bring up such a valid point. And this is, again, one of those ideals resonating throughout the nation. One of the ways that a lot of folks who have been privileged in this system, that have taken advantage of the privileges, that have, you know, maybe inherently and uninherently, like they didn't even know they were doing it, whatever, that this is what it is. Oh, this is why when people say we need to work within the system or make incremental change or all of these kinds of ideas, it really doesn't resonate, especially with so many who are like, look, we see what you just said. This system works the way it's supposed to work. There is no fixing it from the inside. You have folks that work inside the system that say, look, we understand that there's a real need to change a lot of the ways that this stuff works. When we had Miss Sade Smith on, the lawyer that was she was in the prosecutor's office, now working with these protesters who have been freed. She's working with them to free protesters. I mean, literally saying that police copy and paste things on their reports, that this is known in the prosecutor's office, that they get away with these things. This is exactly why this is the things that are resonating throughout the country. It's unfortunate because, you're so right. It's not going to be something that can be fixed. The system is working the way it's supposed to.
Listen, even Meyerberg, when we talked to him, he was like, well, man, there's only so much I can do. His office wasn't really set up to do. And so here's the other thing is now people are hitting me up talking about, well, this is the way this system was designed. And fine, I understand. It makes sense. This whole accountability thing, and it makes sense because at the time it worked. But at the same time, we have our government officials saying this is unprecedented times. We need to make unprecedented change. But now when it comes to this issue here, they're like, no, but this is the way we made the system. Chill out. That's what I'm saying. So speaking of OPA, we brought up Renee, the journalist from the Seattle Gay News. We brought up her case to the OPA director when we interviewed him, and he has some statements to make. So of course, after that, I found Renee and her lawyer, Sarah. And basically what Director Meyerberg was saying is that they didn't need to go through this thing called FIT because they could just do it through OPA. But, you know, Sarah, Renee's lawyer, is saying it's like, nah, it needs to be inside of FIT because X, Y, and Z. Anyways, it's back and forth. But here's just a few statements here from Sarah, who is Renee's lawyer. Renee is the journalist at the Seattle Gay News who was hit by a blast ball and it looks like is suffering permanent ear loss or hearing loss. So that was the director right there. You saw the full interview. Give us some of your thoughts on what the director was saying in regard to your case.
Well, first, I'd like to address the exact clip that you just showed and clarify some things. And I see Director Meyerberg like casting his eyes heavenward and saying that it's extremely frustrating and that he thinks that we are misunderstanding what's going on. And I just wanted to indicate that that's just not the case. We do understand what's going on. Director Meyerberg omits the fact that we have quite a lot of history together. I worked at the Office of Inspector General, and my job was reviewing all of the OPA cases at 2 points. So when it was decided whether they were investigated and at the end of investigation. So I was on the phone with Director Meyerberg, almost every day while I worked at the Office of Inspector General, and I'm well aware of what FIT does, what Force Review Board does, and what OPA does. And I'm aware that OPA is the body that investigates in order to determine whether something is out of policy. And I have not been, and Renee and I have not been asking for a FIT review of Renee's case. Renee, and with my help, hopefully we will be pursuing every single route we can to get justice in her case, but we have not asked for a fit investigation. The issue that we're concerned with, and the reason why Renee's case has come, I mean, other than the obvious egregiousness of the original incident that in which Renee was injured by a police officer. And if you're not familiar, Renee was away from protests. She was sitting on a staircase resting while she was covering protests, at least like a block and a half, 2 blocks away from anything going on. An officer kind of rolled up on his bike.
Let me stop you right there. We actually have this. We'll just play this clip here real quick. Sorry, Renee. I know when I see stuff like this of myself, I get like, let's see. Right, and so
kind of in
we'll play it one more time. But once you tell people what to look out for,
watch the lower left corner for the officer that walks into frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is throwing a blast ball, and what happened was that blast ball or flashbang exploded very near Renee, causing a knee injury and also causing what we believe will be permanent hearing loss. There's not a lot of, there's some chance that some of her hearing will be recovered, but there's not a lot of hope, and her doctors are not that optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing is like, we'll see what happens with this case. Sarah, Renee has a very experienced lawyer there with Sarah, who's navigated this system before, everything else. And we'll see what the outcomes are, on the case. I was there that day, July 25th. Believe me, I was there. Like I said, we got worked over that day. And of course, like I said, anyways, I won't even go into it here. I'm gonna save it for tomorrow's show. We're gonna put something together. People can see what really happened out there that day. But also on the show now, we had Justin, who was with Divest SPD, and he actually had an interesting take on Meyerberg. He really reinforced a lot of what Meyerberg was saying, is that his position was created really, it's not a lot that he can do. And this is an interesting take right here.
A lot of, I think, what Director Meyerberg said about, him doing his job and, all these like limitations to OPA, I think a lot of that rings true in a sense, is because there's a contradiction here, is that a use of force or a stop or whatever, is coming up in coming before OPA, it can be within policy, it can be within the law and still be unjust. And that's, when you get down to it, that is, I don't think OPA will ever be able to overcome its credibility problem for that reason, because it will always like find outcomes where the director is doing his job, like basically as well as he possibly can, but it will still come to a unsatisfactory outcome. And he might even be doing his job correctly in terms of applying the law and applying policy in a way that is appropriate, or, according to his like understanding of his mandate and his mission, and it'll still be wrong or it'll still be bad. And, what this comes down to, because ultimately the policy and the law is basically rigged in the officer's favor in a sense.
There you have it. I mean, he just said basically what we were saying is how things are rigged in the officer's favor. I mean, he's right to a certain degree here, that once again, there's only so much Meyerberg can really even do.
Well, yeah, I mean, what else he said is just like, man, like anything, how to game the system, and something that they might consider it's the difference between ethical and illegal. And I mean, it's an interesting conversation. Anyway, that full interview session is up on the Converge Media Facebook and YouTube pages, and of course, the full interview with OPA director Andrew Meyerberg is there as well. One thing that's very interesting though right now is that people are actually getting an opportunity to see how these systems work, because believe me, they work well for all the right people. But
Yeah.
people are able to see how these systems work up close and personal.
Yeah, absolutely. This movement is really bringing it about. And I'm so glad that, one of the things that we've really done here at Converge is keep our finger on the pulse of all of this. I mean, you really are interviewing the right people and bringing this information out. It is remarkable to be a part of, because honestly, before this, there's not a lot of people really paying attention. I think bringing it into the younger generations and, to allow people to understand that these systems really do affect us. The people that we elect into these positions that we may not even think are, really powerful or have much authority, we're now being able to see how important they all intertwine and work together like that web. And it's important that we stay informed and engaged in the processes.
Yeah, and well, the thing is that um, I think people need to realize is like one of the things that I'm getting feedback on, and I need to look it up when I get back tomorrow. Is they're saying that the rules around things doesn't allow for like the mayor or the police chief to speak on something, right? And so I don't want to go too far down that road, but I think that's my understanding, because I'm always like, man, why don't these guys say something? Why don't they? This is if they think something's wrong. And so one of the things here is, and I need to follow it through, is that they can't really speak on anything. And that might have been good at that time. At the time when people made these rules and everything else, that might have been good at that time. It might have been like, oh, okay, here it is. But man, times have changed, and rules and things need to be up there, because what that means is literally that the most egregious things could occur, and our public officials that we're really looking for to be able to find some understanding can't really speak to things. And so yeah, I'm gonna follow that up and really get an understanding to it, because these are unprecedented times. Maybe we need to change some things up. I'm not sure.
I agree. Please change it, because that's really another one of those unfortunate fold-ins that really results in not being able to build those relationships and keep things transparent. And that's what's really needed right now.
All right, good stuff. I'll take it back to the national news here, man. On the national front, the HBCU watch, man, Meharry Medical College receives $34 million endowment. So this is that's real big news. We've been following Meharry. Meharry is also working on a COVID vaccine as well. Meharry Medical School in Nashville, Tennessee. I think it's the oldest Black medical school in the country. And yeah, they've been after it. So, but that's philanthropy right there, by the way. A group in Philadelphia donated $34 million to Meharry Medical School.
Wow, that almost could have made Melanin magic, man. That's beautiful. Once again, I mean, it's funny that you talk about philanthropy. I mean, there it is right there. I mean, again, that's why I think it's such a wide discussion when you talk about it, because there are great things that happen, and then there are not so great things. I mean, again, it's both sides of the coin here.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, so what was up this weekend? It was the Jimi Hendrix event at Jimi Hendrix Park. We actually got more footage that's coming in, so we'll play some interviews for tomorrow. But man, I thought this was interesting. I snagged it real quick. This is a band that came all the way from Accra, Ghana, who performed there at Jimi Hendrix Park.
Wow.
It's because Jimmy, and worldwide. I mean, it's crazy. Like worldwide, all these places that I've been, around the world, man, people know Jimi Hendrix. Its influence has definitely been like huge, massive.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so much of that event was really about uplifting, his roots in Seattle, how important that really was to his legacy. And sometimes it gets washed away because he has such this global presence. But, hey, he was definitely, right here pounding the pavement in Seattle, in the Central District. And so that's one of the things that I loved learning throughout the process of some of the interviews I was able to do with some of Jimmy's loved ones. So that was a great process. I'm glad that the event went off, and everybody was able to be there. Glad that the air cleared up clearly. It was, look, Jimmy's spirit was alive and well, making sure that people enjoy it.
Man, yeah, and we'll have more footage of that probably tomorrow. Something that was interesting, we got a lot of great feedback on, is when my mama, Reverend Harriet Walden, was on the show the other day. And, I thought that this was a portion of this was worth replaying, because from day one of these protests, especially when the spray came out and everything else, and got hit with the rubber bullets and got hit with all these things, there was there's always people who've been like, man, why aren't you more mad? And believe me, I was mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, every day just able to press reset and get back out there and do my job. And for a lot of people, they didn't really understand. It was like, man, you should really, really be pissed, at what you're going through and what's going on. And that's true. And everybody expresses their ways differently. You know what I'm saying? Maybe my way is to continue, to be there. But I just wanted to show people that I get this temperament and this demeanor, honestly.
But through all of that, I'm going to keep my humanity. I will never, ever, ever go down to the level of the enemy or the people who hate me. Never.
Amen.
I will never, ever, ever crawl on my belly. I will never, ever treat somebody the way they've treated me. It's my principle, it's my character, and it's my training. My grandmother taught me to never be a hater. Best thing she ever taught me. Her first husband got lynched by some white people. But she told me, you'll never be a hater. I walk through life, I will never waste my time hating white people. Never. And I don't care what happens, I will never go there. Never.
It's I think a lot of people might get it honest. To see why I get it honest, there's a lot of people who saw a lot of this footage and like, man, how come you're not more vicious and you're not more this, you're not more that? And I tell them, man, like, hate don't dwell in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I make my moves, believe me, but it's not hate that gets me out of the bed every morning. It's
For me, it's love. What gets me out of bed every morning is the little children. That we don't see them at the bus stop right now, but we would. They got bright eyes. I work for the children because you know what? They are so idealistic.
Oh my gosh. Your mom was so inspirational. I think we need to do a new segment, man. Voices from the elders, man. Or something from the elders. I'm serious because I was so inspired listening to her talk. And again, so many great elders in our community that have these amazing principles and perspectives that really we need to keep alive. You know what I mean? We need to keep them going and pass them down. Beautiful.
Definitely. And last thing here before we're going to break. We got a little bit shorter of a show here because my plane's going to board in a little bit. But we're going to go to break here. People might be able to tell I'm here in the airport. Which way do I go? Airport here in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the A terminal. And actually flew down here on Friday. I think it was Friday after the show, Friday or Saturday. And drove into Cheraw, South Carolina in the PD. People from South Carolina, they know what's up. Chesterfield County, 2 hoops and a holler from Florence and Darlington. And Akira Mari's great grandmother, Pauline Henry, she had passed away 85 years. And it was, man, the thing is of course, it's always sad when somebody passes away, but it's like, man, the family reunion part of it is pretty dope. And somebody asked a question earlier. It's like, man, I hope O has a video. Yeah, I talked to my dad and everybody, and I caught up. And actually, Paulette, remember the segment that I played before? She had revealed that she was in stage 2 breast cancer, and she actually had just started her chemotherapy, but she still, I mean, she probably should have been home. But her and my dad, they rolled down from Rocky Mount to attend the funeral as well. And so now I'm on my way back to Seattle right now. But it's something about being present, the power of presence, and sometimes it's difficult, these days. But anyway, it's just stitched a few photos together. I'll probably have a nice video tomorrow. Here we go. All right.
Family.
There it is. We're gonna take a short break right now. When we come back, we got more of the Morning Update Show.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, CashApp, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury here in Terminal A in the airport in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Trey Holiday here at the house.
Yeah, the crib. Hope you back there cooking up something.
Uh-oh. I just did, man. I just did my first vegan mac and cheese. It was amazing. Turned out great. And my vegan greens. So I'm trying some new things.
Vegan? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it
All
was
right.
good.
I was going to ask you when you invited me over for some food, but I think I'm going to have to pass.
Watch. I'll change your mind. Oh, I'll change your mind.
All right. So you did mention Melanin Magic, and today we got a really good Melanin Magic here. Kelly Edwards. This is a woman after my own heart. Now she's a pilot, she's a scuba diver, a parachuter, a journalist, and basically she goes around the world. She has a show, I think it's called Mysterious Islands, and she goes around the world, basically like reporting on mysterious islands, like what's going on here, what happened here, and everything else. And like, man, she is just all the way bomb. Nikki Barron found this clip. I asked Nikki if she could make an introduction for me. I'm still waiting for Nikki to get back to me though.
Islands are home to some of the greatest mysteries on Earth. Because when you're cut off from the mainland, strange things happen.
Around 30,000 people were killed. Is this place haunted? It's a mystery.
My name is Kelly Edwards.
Yeah!
As a travel journalist, I'll do anything to reach our planet's most remote places. Climb, dive, or fly.
It's taken me 5 days to get over here.
I'm on a journey to explore the world's most mysterious islands.
I have no idea where my contact is.
In a quest to discover the untold secrets they hold.
What is that? This right here proves it. Whoa.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, that's a whole lot of Melanin Magic right there, my friend.
Oh my gosh, is it ever? I mean, literally, I'm so glad that Nikki found this clip because I will be watching this show, following her. I mean, I think just phenomenal. Literally phenomenal.
There it is. Well, man, guess what, Trey?
Uh-oh, what time?
Well, no, I'm saying, first of all, we did something we've never done before here on the morning update show, where we've done some live stuff in Seattle, but I'm all the way here in Charlotte, you're all the way here in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? We had our fingers crossed almost an hour ago, hoping everything would work out, but I think we did pretty good.
I know. I can't believe it. You know what? I can believe it because I know who you are, man. You're going to find a way to make it work, brother. Thank you, man.
Well, I know who we are. Hope you can rotate this screen because it looks like it's about time. You're going to take a stand out there?
Oh, there we go. All right. I got you. Try to make
Right.
sure I get it up right. All right.
All
Okay.
right. So from the east coast to the west coast. Let me see if I can get this in here. East coast to the west coast. Man, appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the support, all the love, all the kind comments and everything else. You got anything, Trey?
Nah, man, this is a great show. Thanks you guys for supporting us and for watching.
All right. So until tomorrow, 11 a.m. Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.